I was able to purchase the ASUS ZenBook Pro Duo laptop, and the reason why it's called the Duo laptop is because it's got two I just poked my cheek with the monitor. The reason why it's called Duo is because it's got two monitors here, one touchscreen. Well, both of them are actually touchscreen, but you can use this in so many different ways. It's very powerful. It's got an Intel i9-10980HK, 32 gigs of RAM, a terabyte of SSD, a GeForce RTX 3070, ScreenPad Plus, which is the screen on the bottom. You can use it with your stylus or even just, you know, touchscreen. It's got a 15.6-inch OLED 4K UHD Touch Display, and just a really thin chassis right here. So it's so thin. ASUS is working on some really thin laptops. I think they're doing well, but are they sacrificing thin, sleek, good-looking laptops for performance? Let's take a look and find out. So let's first talk about the build quality of this laptop. I mean, there's no way around it. It's a very well built laptop, feels strong and sturdy. It feels like it would weigh the amount it does with the size that it is. So it's not like it's made in a cheap way. The chassis is strong, as well as the touchscreen display on the bottom there. When you push or tap on it, it doesn't have any give or flex. So it's pretty sturdy. This little screen that opens out also allows airflow to come in through the top, and it blows air out through the bottom, which seems a little counterintuitive since warm air rises. I don't know why they send the air down underneath, but that's what most laptops do anyways, so it's not like it, you know, is a mistake or they just did it and overlooked it. That's just how laptops are. Now, with a laptop like this, obviously it's not going to be as good as a desktop with the same specs, and it's just because they have to cram all of that hardware into a small physical space. They're gonna have to make some compromises. What type of compromises? I'm not sure yet, so let's take a look. So the first game that I tested out was PUBG, and if you know me, I stream this pretty often. I have a lot of fun with it. I had a very smooth experience while playing PUBG. Now, you can also have your OBS or, you know, whatever stream software you use on your second monitor while having chat there. That's really handy, and I love that about this laptop, especially if I'm going to be mobile, or let's say I'm on vacation, feel like playing a game, and let's say I want to stream it. I can do that with just this laptop. I don't need any extra displays because I've got two of them, one for chat and my OBS, and one for my main gameplay. I also tested this on AAA games like Warzone, and I had all of these settings on its max settings. The computer chose them by itself automatically because it did its own benchmark essentially. So I didn't have to pick these settings. It did it all itself, and it ran the games really smoothly. Warzone wasn't an exception. I didn't have any stutters, lags, or dropped frames when playing Warzone. And to be completely fair, I don't play Warzone all that much. I just slapped on the max settings and played it and didn't have any issues. Doesn't mean I'm good at it by any means, but I still had fun, at least when there weren't cheaters around. Some people are going to be triggered by that. I also played Forza Horizon 5, and it's a beautiful game. I had so much fun with it that I kind of played longer than I should have while recording the video. I also connected the Xbox controller to it to make it a whole lot easier, because gaming on a small keyboard like that just isn't all that useful. It doesn't feel very good. It doesn't have any wrist rest, or the keys are just really close together for small travel, which is fine for, you know, productivity, like let's say you're writing up an email and stuff like that. It's totally great. And I've used this laptop in local coffee shops and done some work mobile, but you know, for gaming experiences, I would get a second keyboard to attach to this. Now that brings me to the ports for this laptop. You don't have a whole lot. In fact, you only have one USB connection and two USB-C ports. So if you wanted to connect a mouse, keyboard, and maybe even a microphone via USB, you're gonna have to get a dock. So I got a USB-C to USB. It's got 4 USBs on them. So technically I have 5 USBs now that I can use with this. And this is something that's going to be pretty necessary, especially if you're a gamer, and maybe even if you're a video editor, you might need some extra USBs for it too. Now, this laptop isn't specifically designed for gaming, even though it has an RTX 3070. It's mainly created for productivity, so Premiere Pro, After Effects, 3ds Max, Cinema 4D, things like that. Now, if you're going to work in a full 3D scene like Cinema 4D, it's not going to be completely fluid, especially if you have a large project going. It's going to have its its limitations. It is a laptop, keep that in mind. But as far as I found when editing in Premiere Pro, it's been super smooth, and I love that I can put my timeline on the second screen so that it makes more room on my main monitor. Because this monitor is only about 15.5 inches. So gaming on a monitor that small isn't ideal, but it's still totally doable, especially with Forza Horizon 5. It was a lot of fun, beautiful game, amazing visuals. You should give it a try. I'm not very good at racing games, but it doesn't mean that it wasn't a spectacular game to look at. Speaking of trackpads though, this one isn't good for gaming. No trackpad is. Who uses trackpad for gaming? I use a mouse. I use the Razer Viper Ultimate. Great mouse. I wouldn't use the touchpad for any reason except for some small, navigation or, navigating to my emails. But it is touchscreen, so sometimes I use it over using the touchpad. It is accurate and it is helpful, but I don't like that it's on the side of the laptop. I'm used to having it in the middle, front and center, where I can sometimes use both my hands, one for the touchpad and one for the buttons. I'm inefficient like that sometimes, but that's what I'm used to, and I'm just gonna have to relearn that the touchpad is on the side. There has been times where I've touched the keyboard trying to touch the touchpad, expecting it to be there, and it's not, and I get surprised and go, oh, of course, right. One neat little feature, and it's nothing really that special. When you're on lock screen, it'll recognize your face as unlocking the laptop, just like an iPhone does with its Face ID. The keys feel good, just like a normal laptop would. There's nothing special about them. They are backlit, so if you're in a dark space, or maybe even just you prefer backlit keyboards, you've got that here. Now there's a lot you can do with ScreenPad Plus, and that's this little guy here. There's a ton of touch options, and you can customize the features while using in Premiere Pro or Photoshop. You get a bunch of settings that you can use to customize what you want to do in that application. Honestly, I haven't used it all that much. I don't really care about it. I have all of my keyboard shortcuts and I use all of those. I don't care about the features on the ScreenPad Plus. I would prefer to use that for like my timeline in Premiere Pro, or maybe even my OBS if I'm streaming, so that I can do what I want to do on my main monitor. But in case you prefer those with productivity wise, you can use your hand or stylus to control those settings instead of using keyboard shortcuts. Some people prefer different workflows. That's not my workflow. I don't want to do it like that, but it is there. Now, when I was playing these AAA games or, recording and gaming at the same time, this thing can get pretty loud. The fans can be loud and all the hot air is being extracted from the bottom of the computer here. So it does get a little warm, especially if you lay your hand on the side of the laptop. I couldn't think of the word. Then you'll feel the heat right there when you're actually running some games and recording at the same time, or even just running a game. Now, how loud do these get? They can get pretty loud. It doesn't interfere with what I'm doing, especially because I'm not recording or anything, but you will be able to hear it if you put the microphone pretty close to it. Now, with a 4K screen, you're naturally gonna have small icons on your main monitor, so I would recommend scaling those up. I think I have mine to 250%. Depending on what you have, in some FPS games or shooter games, it's hard to spot people on this small screen. So you might want to adjust your settings and scale that up so that you can actually have some type of competitive advantage. Or it's got an HDMI on the side, plug a bigger monitor in there. You can totally do that. And then you actually have 3 monitors, if you think about it, which is pretty cool. It's also got an audio jack for your mic in and your headphones all into one. You can get a splitter if you want, but I don't know why they only have one of these. They should have 2, especially for a dual PC stream setup. Like, some people might want to use it for this. This isn't going to be entirely supportive for a dual PC stream. So if that's what you want to do, I would not recommend this laptop for that, especially for $3,000. I would rather get a computer that's less expensive. It doesn't have the second screen on the keyboard there, because honestly, you're not going to use it if you've got a dual PC stream. You've got so many monitors in the start, that's not going to change anything. Oh, I just almost dropped it. Yeah, so I dropped the laptop. Sorry, there's no winner. I get to win this one. Sorry, chat. Goodbye. Thanks for watching. honestly, I don't really see anything else I need to mention. It's not that special of a laptop aside from the processor and the graphics card. It's nice that it has a 3070 graphics card and it's got 32 gigs of RAM, but that's the only thing that's really special about this laptop. As far as anything else, it's pretty average. If you are a gamer, I probably would not recommend this laptop for gamers. It's just not built that way. It can run any game you want, but as far as being able to play your game at a great experience, you're going to have to get an external keyboard, you're going to have to get a mouse, and you're going to have to get a second monitor for this thing, a bigger one, because it's not very easy to play on this small screen. So if you're not going to have that situation, don't get this laptop. But if you have extra monitors lying around, another keyboard and a mouse, then this might actually be a good option for you. So, you know, take it with a grain of salt. If you're interested, I'll leave a link down below to get a version. This has got a 3070. It's one of the harder models to get. I think I got the last one that's available right now. I've scoured the internet. It's very difficult to get the one with the 3070, but the 3060 is available pretty easily, and the 3080. Just the 3070 is pretty difficult. But to be completely honest, I wouldn't go for a 3070. A 3080 might do more than I needed to, but ultimately, you know me, I'm a guy who likes overkill. I've got a $10,000 gaming PC, so if you're interested in that, link is in the top right in the cards. I'm also going to do a comparison between laptops and a $10,000 gaming PC, so stick around if you're interested in that. Subscribe, and I'll see you next time. And if you enjoyed, leave a like. That helps a lot. I really appreciate it. Leave a comment down below on what laptop you think I should be getting to review next, so that you know, I spend the money so you don't. Oh yeah, I was also live streaming this while I was recording, so, you know, come say hi on Twitch. We have a lot of fun, talk about random things, and we currently have a giveaway, which I almost forgot to mention. I'm giving this guy away. It's a $3,000 laptop with a 3070 i9 997. What's the freaking chat? I always forget the processor name. It's an Intel Core i9-10980HK. So this is a really beefy laptop. If you want a chance to win, link is down below. Enter the giveaway. You get extra entries when you sign up with my partner HelloFresh. It's a really awesome service. Instead of spending $19 per person for groceries, now it's only like just under $8 for your groceries per person. So Em and I love it. We're gonna do a just chatting stream when we're cooking. So that cooking stream is gonna come out very soon. Link is down below. Come say hi on Twitch. I'll see you next time, but until then, make something great.